Now let's bring in Kodzo Yaotse, policy lead for petroleum and conventional energy at the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, who argues that a tax measure will be detrimental to the economy. Kodzo, grateful for joining us. I want you to explain why you make such a point that this tax will rather lead to the, will make the economy worse than enhancing the revenue generation of government.
Thanks very much. First of all, let me state that we've been increasing electricity tariffs for some time now. From September 2022 to June 2023, tariffs have increased by about some 100%, with only a 4% reduction in the last quarter of 2023. Okay. In addition to that, we have the energy sector debt recovery levy, which is levied on petroleum products, and also the Delta Fund, which is also on petroleum products, all with the hope that we will be able to resolve the liquidity challenges in the power sector. But the evidence shows that liquidity is rather worsening. In the last quarter, we've seen IPPs threatening to cut power. We've seen WAPCO shutting down their pipes to us due to unsettled liabilities. And these liabilities that we are even talking about are things that we owe them. What they are currently selling to us, we've not even begun that conversation yet. So imposing VAT on tariffs really will not achieve the desired objectives. Rather, two things are going to happen. Power becomes too expensive for consumers, so people begin to consume power illegally, further compounding the revenue and liquidity challenges that the sector is already facing. And consumers that can actually pay for the power, including businesses, will seek competitive alternatives outside the grid, which is also not good for the power distributor. And eventually, those who cannot pay will have to fold up. Imagine the consequences of that for the economy. And also, government would have to now take money from the budget away from sectors that it would have spent on poor sectors to come and recover the liabilities. Government has budgeted this year alone to recover liabilities to the tune of 22 billion Ghana cedis.
Okay, all right. Now, how best can government approach this issue?
Any efforts to increase tariffs, right, that is not complemented with resolving the revenue leakages and debt accumulation at the distribution end, where the problem is, would be an exercise in futility. So if you increase the VAT, the tariffs, and you don't stop the leakages that are happening at the ECG side, which is principally due to how the entity is being managed. ECG is not being managed as a commercial entity, right? And power supply is a business. When you run it with politics, you get that. So we expect that government will go back to the initial conversations that we were having about introducing private sector participation to reform the management of the company. Because, I mean, let's be honest, no businessman would have a business that is making up to 40–50% losses annually and continue to run it the way it is run.
Okay.
Right? When government will allow its businesses to run in such a manner.
Okay, Kodzo, stay with me, because on Wednesday, energy analyst Kodzo Poku mentioned to us that government has decided to hold on to the implementation of this tax measure. Listen.
But for this particular letter, it's been, for me, my checks, it tells me that it's been stepped down and it hasn't been implemented. Because, look, we have to, as much as some of us are crying for more money to be raised to fix ECG and to fix the sector, we cannot also pile on some of these taxes beginning of the year when we are all coming out of the festive season, and a lot of taxes are taking effect from 1st of January.
Okay.
I think the powers that be have agreed to step this down for the time being, because it takes a lot of sensitization. Even the ECG software needs to be updated in the way they calculate the non-lifeline for the residential. So it's not going to be implemented immediately. There's a lot of consultation going to go on before it is implemented. But we can all agree that when we need money to fix something, it would have to come from tariffs of taxes.
Okay. All right.
But for me, I think the timing is wrong. It's a wrong time to introduce more VAT on electricity at this stage.
Meanwhile, head of corporate communications for Ghana Gas, NS Osubempa, says the recent power outages are due to some maintenance works currently ongoing throughout the country and not doing so as is being suggested.
And my brother, let me ask you, since we took over the leadership of this country, the MPP, haven't you seen power, electricity, haven't you seen it? And you have to be honest to yourself that everything is going on well. The only reason that is happening is that today there's a serious problem with the West African gas pipeline when we're pushing gas from there to end. When there is a little bit of arrears, that one, which the contract was signed by the NDC, when the JKF did the West African gas pipeline negotiation, after that they re-engaged them again, and there is an arrears that we need to pay, and that one has one or two problems. And we're also doing what we call a whole total renovation of the power sector value chain. When you look at certain pylons, when you go to Ashanti region, a lot of pylons that is bringing power from other parts of the country into the Ashanti region is being changed. Most of the transformers in this country has major problems. 1963 transformers till 1970s transformers is being changed, and obviously it's going to have effect on the power. But as I'm talking to you, there is nothing like doom so happening in this country that Mahama want to capitalize so that he can get political advantage and use that against us. It is not going to work.
Well, Kodzo Yaotse is still with me. Kodzo, how do you react to this?
I mean, it is interesting that the one calling for honest conversations is coming to the table with solid hands. This week, we have all been here and listened to the Deputy Minister of Energy give reasons for why we are having the challenges that we've been having. So it's quite intriguing to hear the PRO of Ghana Gas coming out to tell us that they were having maintenance and all manner of things. Even if we grant him that, if you are a proper system planner, when you have scheduled maintenance, what do? You inform your consumers. So why didn't we get any information from them that they have scheduled maintenance and that for this, between this period and this period, we're going to have our lights off? I think this is completely disingenuous and it's taking away our attention from the real issues that have plagued the sector within the past few weeks.
Kodzo Yaotse, I'm grateful for joining us here. Now, away from